travel is impossible over a large part of the extreme northern portion of Alabama, and conditions continue to worsen in Birmingham. The bitter cold Arctic air in place over the nation continues to create dangerously cold wind chills across the...
That pushes into the south. Could be another messy day for the south as far as how much snow and how much rain we're going to see. That's a little bit too far to tell, but the first system, again, passing on northward, and you'll probably see the snow end across extreme. Carolina, just a band of light to moderate snow here. Now, Henderson down to Atlanta, all snow up through Rome, over to Clayton, Georgia, back through Muscle Shoals, Montgomery, and Anniston, who have now got a break from the precipitation, but they'll be back into it. Basically all snow here, maybe a couple of ice pellets thrown in for good measure, moving northeast very quickly at 50. Third stop takes us on into Centerville, Alabama. Here's the break for Anniston I told you about, but back to Birmingham, down to Centerville and the Meridian, rain, snow, ice pellets, and sleet. The whole bag, the whole potpourri, it's moving towards the northeast, towards Atlanta at about 15 miles per hour. So if you don't have to go to work in Atlanta today or anywhere in this area, don't. All right, we'll look at your winter storm update now this morning. And as we check it out for you, of course, that's going to be a feature that you'll find probably this afternoon in the south. A lot of snow-packed cars. Hopefully you did your grocery shopping. I'm telling you, there isn't a busier place than, even around Christmas time, than there is at grocery stores around Atlanta when it's supposed to snow. Anyway, we see the snow pushed as far east now very, very quickly into eastern and North Carolina and South Carolina as well. Then we find the freezing precipitation west of Anniston, down through Centerville, on in through Barksdale, Shreveport. Then the rain from Baton Rouge on down through Lake Charles, and just drizzle down through the Corpus Christi area. And then, of course, the light snow and the freezing drizzle back through Texas, Oklahoma, and down through Joplin and up to St. Louis. Here's some of the snowfall told us for you. Wichita, 9 inches. Little north of Little Rock and Oklahoma City, 12 inches. Those are both records for that area. Huntsville, 8 inches right now. Chattanooga, 6. Nashville's got 5. Greenville, South Carolina, 3. And Charlotte got a quick inch this morning, very, very quickly. Here is the storm history, showing you the heavy snow, and it continued to move all the way all the way into the Carolinas this morning. This is where you'll find the wintry travel, the ice in the darker pink, and then for the most part, snow starting off, then mostly rain around Shreveport and down just to the south of Centerville and around Macon, Georgia. Winter storm warnings all over the place in the Tennessee Valley and much of the Carolinas. Those continue on into tonight. Then the watches break out across portions of New Jersey, and they continue right on into Friday. And, of course, they'll be updated.
Stay tuned for more local information.
1924. Snowfall totals of close to a foot are common across Oklahoma. Lake effect snow in the Great Lakes region continues to fall as cold air from Canada blasts the area. This is the situation.
Clouds drifting towards the northeast. If you look outside your window this morning, not all the way from Anniston on back through Centerville and on into western Texas, snowflakes flying around Oklahoma City, all the way to the Carolina coast this morning. And these are just those high clouds that continue to drift northward, and we're picking up the snow now, a little heavy band of snow around Louisville, down towards Hopkinsville, and into the Nash-Vegas metropolitan. Right now at Nashville, Chattanooga's got 6 inches, Huntsville has 8. Oh, what a mess it is here, and I'm sure a lot of roadways are closed, and we've probably got some very, very heavy snow on those roads, so that's making travel impassable. Further and to the south now, and our last radar stop takes us on into Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and we see basically rain.
Snow and ice rolls out of the Mississippi Valley into the deep south this morning. Memphis, Tennessee now has 8 inches on the ground from the storm, and it has been a rough month here. A tornado in mid-December, heavy flooding at Christmas, and now heavy snow. Record snowfall of a foot or more has fallen at Oklahoma City as the storm moved east yesterday and dumped 10.5 inches on Little Rock, Arkansas, as freezing rain invaded Louisiana and northeastern Texas. To the north,
a major winter storm.
Stay tuned for more weather coverage here on the Weather Channel.
The storm continues to rage on southern Kentucky, Tennessee, with a little light snow across the Ohio River Valley, and then the ice farther to the south. We'll also see a little bit of light snow still remaining back into the plains with a lot of clouds, but the heaviest of snow, again, tracks southern Alabama, southern Georgia. You get to the central portions of those states, freezing rain and sleet mix, terrible icy driving conditions, and the snow from extreme northern Georgia and northern South Carolina into North Carolina, Tennessee, where 6 to 12 inches of snow will be accumulating, and rain amounts could be approaching ½ inch to an inch along the Gulf Coast states with the heavy band of snow. Tennessee.
Corey and Cheryl Lemke. The major winter storm in the southeast has already blanketed portions of the Tennessee Valley. At least 7 inches of snow is on the ground in Memphis, Tennessee, while in northern Alabama, officials report many roads are closed due to the snow. As of early this morning, up to 8 inches is on the ground in Huntsville and Decatur, up to 7 inches in Hamilton and Muscle Shoals. Travel is impossible over a large part of the extreme northern portion of Alabama, and conditions continue to worsen in Birmingham. The bitter cold Arctic air in place over...
We now have a live fish.
Continue to dominate much of the southeast, letting up now, finally, on into the southern plains. But another system we're keeping our eye on is developing out over the western coastal areas of the country. Now, this is eventually going to slide across the southern part of the country, and that might return some of that very tricky driving type winter cold weather and snowy weather to much of the central plains into the southeast.
The weather across the country ranges from the very cold to the pretty mild down in Florida, and from the clear to the very snowy across much of the nation. We're talking about the fair skies now, a little bit of a respite in between storms there in Oklahoma City, where they had a record snow from one storm yesterday, 12.1 inches. And as we head on into the east, this storm system really has created more problems than it's worth, I'm sure, across much of these. I don't know how much it's worth, but it has dumped a lot of ice and snow across much of North Georgia into South and North Carolina, now getting into Virginia and West Virginia. The ski areas are loving it. Travelers are hating it. Let's check out the surface map and show you that, well, in the southeastern parts of the nation, it has been generally a mess. If you've been traveling, I guess the best advice is don't. And that includes here in Atlanta. We've had a lot of sleet on the ground, and traveling was difficult at best. Here is Atlanta a little bit earlier today, and lots of folks had this problem. Sleet came down, accumulated a couple of inches in a few spots, and made driving very, very difficult, very, very slippery. And again, this is not snow on the ground, this is sleet. And also made walking a little bit difficult, although that was probably better than driving. And if you really wanted to get around, I guess you jump on the sled, and that's the way Dave and I came into work this morning, but it didn't end up like this. I think, well, right at the end there, I think he fell off that sled. Hope he's all right. Anyway, Greenville, looks like it's finally changing over to a little sleet and freezing rain there now. Huntsville, Alabama is now just a little freezing drizzle. 10 inches there earlier. Nashville got up to 8 inches of snow. Knoxville, 7. Paducah, Kentucky, at the northern edge of the storm, they even got 3 inches of snow. The northern edge now is just now starting to approach the Washington, D.C. area. It's been snowing pretty heavily around Richmond, and pretty soon it'll move into the Norfolk area, Tidewater, also up to Baltimore, the Delmarva Peninsula, all looking for some snow as we head on through the night tonight as that high slowly gives way in the northeast. Here, and we enhance it here to show some of the high clouds, and indeed in South